I want to talk to you about belt graduations. Belt graduations or promotions are the highlight of a student's training. Please, when you go to a graduation, if you're there in a supportive role, actually support them. Don't just read a book or a magazine. I've oftentimes seen a kid or a student doing a great job with one of their moves. They're tired, they're feeling good, they look over at mom or dad, and they got their head buried in a book, and I can just see them deflate, their energy just goes out. Cheer them on, right? I don't want them to lose momentum. I want them to feel great and that everyone's there to support them. And so it's only once every 2-3 months. It's different than regular class. You are there to help them out. Feel free to invite friends, family to share in the excitement. I love it when somebody brings 8 people with them to watch them graduate. To qualify for graduations or belt promotions, a student must earn the right number of tips. They have to have attended a minimum number of classes and also have the proper attitude in class and at home or school. It's very important that we understand that there is a class requirement, there is a tip requirement, but there's also an attitude requirement. I hate to say it, but there are some times where a student will qualify on the class count and the tips, and then all of a sudden think that they can be a little mouthy in class or at home or not follow all the rules. And I have no problem holding the student off from a graduation if they're not living the martial arts life. Now, please practice everything before the graduation, and I don't mean 10 minutes before the graduation, but the week before. Try to prep for it. It's just good life skill to prep for stuff. And we'll usually give the student extra help ourselves, but just make it a habit to know that something big's coming up and you should probably prep for it. Now, you need to turn in the graduation form with payment at least 2 days before the graduation. Now, the reason for this is we script everything. We know exactly who's going to be there, who they're partnered with, and we need it in time so that we can do all of those things. Please remember to answer the questions on the inside of the form. It's very important to us. We read every single graduation form that comes in. We want to know what you think, and have you taken the time to think, how have you shown respect? How have you shown integrity, or whatever the question might be? We are very interested in what you have to say about that. Remember that we have a character education program. Each time you get a new belt, you should have some new things to learn. It's on the website. If you have trouble finding it, don't be afraid to ask us. We'll point you in the right direction. But we want you to not only look like a great martial artist, but think and act like one. And the character education program is going to do just that. Also remember that there's training tips at Solid Belts. Every time you get a white belt, a gold belt, a green belt, a solid color belt, there's going to be a training tip for you where it's going to talk about something new. Maybe the first time you're doing board breaking, some things to think about and ways to prep for that, or the first time you're sparring, or whatever it might be. So definitely want to take a look at those training tips. A reminder, there's no graduation fees for Black Belt Club members, so that's another bonus of being a Black Belt Club member. And then lastly, remember that graduations outside of the White Belt graduation or Tiger graduation, normal graduations are going to be held at a local elementary school, so please make sure you look at your graduation form to find out where the graduation will be held.